Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our home renovation journey. This week, we are covering quite a bit, from the installation of our Aircon FCU and some unexpected issues that came up, to what you should watch out for if you are doing the same. We have also got a few smaller updates, including PowerPoint faceplates, LED lights, and island chair shopping. But before we dive into all that, here's a quick look at how our living room is shaping up. The false ceiling is finally up and the first coat of paint is on, and honestly, we are loving how it's coming together. Now, let's talk air conditioning. Here's the first set of indoor units along with their condenser, or compressor as some would call it. We are using a System 4 with a 32K BTU condenser, but instead of connecting it to 4 units, we are only running 3 aircon units of it. This allows each unit to operate closer to full capacity, with some buffer left in the condenser for times when all 3 are turned on at the same time. On top of that, we have also installed a separate System 1 with a 24K BTU condenser dedicated solely to the main living area. Now, why this setup? It really comes down to knowing your usage pattern. Most of the time, when you go aircon shopping, the salesperson might suggest a standard System 4 setup, usually a 32K BTU condenser supporting 3 9K units and 1 12K unit. If you have knocked down a wall to expand your living room, they may suggest putting the 12K unit there, or combining it with a 9K unit. But here's the catch. That configuration isn't powerful enough to cool down your entire living room, dining, and kitchen area, especially if you have an open concept layout with no doors between the zones. Sure, it might feel cool directly in front of the aircon, but the rest of the space, not so much. Also, keep in mind that 3 units at 9K plus 1 at 12K adds up to 39K BTU, which exceeds the 32K condenser's capacity. This means you can't run all 4 units at full power at the same time. Well, technically, you still can, but your condenser will constantly be running at full capacity, which can lead to higher electricity costs and long-term wear and tear. Some might argue that you do not on all aircon units at the same time, which is a fair point too. So ultimately, it really depends on your budget and usage. So, for our open concept design, we decided to go with a dedicated 24K FCU for the living area, running on its own 24K condenser. That's paired with a separate 9K unit positioned at the dining area to help keep the entire space comfortably cool. This is where the 9K FCU is installed. Positioned directly above our island, it's neatly tucked away and hidden from view when you enter the house, or look over from the front of the living room. This way, we keep the clean aesthetic of the space while still ensuring proper airflow across the dining and kitchen area. Our study room is fitted with a 9K BTU unit, which is typically sufficient to cool down a standard BTO room efficiently. The box-up cover has also been completed, giving the space a much cleaner look compared to leaving the exposed PVC casing visible. Here's a quick look at the setup before the installation was finalized. You will notice the installer used a sponge or some kind of soft support to prop the unit in place while they connected the piping and drainage. It's always important to ensure that safety comes first and ensure that installers do their proper due diligence by wearing safety harnesses when installing the condenser on the aircon latch or when doing work on the balcony. Here, they are performing a pressure test to check for any potential leaks along the piping. I'm not exactly sure what the testing device is called, so if you know, do drop it in the comments below. And here's how everything looks like once the installation is done. There's still a hole beneath the unit that needs to be patched. It's where the piping runs through, but other than that, the aircon is already up and running, and during the test, it was blowing cold air just as expected. Now, you might be wondering, why hasn't the 24K BTU unit been installed yet? Well, the reason is pretty straightforward. During the first installation visit, the previous installer provided the wrong FCU dimensions, and because of that, the aircon pelmet was built 20 cm too short, which means it can't properly fit the 24K unit. So, unfortunately, we had to pause on that part until the pelmet can be adjusted to the correct size. At one point, we noticed one of the installers about to cut into a wall that has already been made good, and the worst part, they didn't inform us beforehand. We immediately jumped up to find what was going on. Turns out, they were planning to shift the piping further to the left to better centralize the 24K unit in the living room. But doing that would also mean damaging the box up in the study room behind it, just to reroute the pipes. That obviously wasn't ideal. We had to step in and tell them not to proceed, because any damage to the wall or box up would have meant additional repair costs on our end, causes that the installer's company wouldn't be covering. Definitely a reminder to always be on site during aircon installation if you can, and to double check and confirm before anyone makes any irreversible changes. From the markings on the ceiling, you can see that the pelmet needs to be widened quite significantly, especially towards the right side. It's not ideal, but given the situation, we felt that this was the best decision moving forward. Here's a sneak peek at some of the other renovation updates happening around the house. First, in the toilet box up area, the original acrylic panel has been replaced with frosted ones, giving the space a much cleaner and more refined look. The metal support for the common bathroom sink has also been installed. We were supposed to have our customized sink mounted as well, but unfortunately, there was a mix-up and the wrong piece was delivered. So now, we have to wait a little longer for the correct one to arrive. Not much changes for the common shower area. There used to be a rather awkward cutout on the box up panel here to accommodate a water pipe, but we noticed that our ID decided to seal it up. Honestly, we are glad they did, and it looks a lot neater now. But we will keep our fingers crossed and hope that the pipe wouldn't need to be changed in the next few years. The same changes has been applied to our master toilet too. And speaking of that, here's a first look at our customized sintered stone sink in the master bedroom. It's finished in a deep dark tone, a choice my wife made as part of her vision for a darker theme master toilet. We are absolutely in love with the beautiful vein patterns. They give it such a luxurious touch. The next day, we headed down to Tai Seng area to do a bit of shopping, starting with LED light strips. But that is a story for another day. After that, we took a short walk over to Chu Chang to pick up the faceplates and electrical boxes needed for our PowerPoint installations. Once that was done, we made our way to check out some high chairs for the island. We initially had our eyes on an off-white and light wood combination, and it would have matched our theme perfectly. Unfortunately, it was out of stock with no estimated restock date. So in the end, we went with the grey and dark wood combination instead. It wasn't our first choice visually, but the comfort level really won us over, and honestly, it still looks great with the rest of the space. Here's a quick look at a small section of the electrical faceplates and boxes we picked up earlier from Chu Chang. To make things easier, we even labelled everything clearly so that the electrician wouldn't mix them up. Though, let's just say it didn't go exactly as planned. We'll share more about this little hiccup in an upcoming update. We were pleasantly surprised to find that the service yard window has already been installed while we were out shopping. That means we can finally turn on the aircon without worrying about cool air escaping through an open and exposed area. Such a relief in Singapore's weather. Alright, that's all for today. Remember to like, share and subscribe. Bye!